At 8, my parents kicked me out after a fight. I wandered to a gas station, then a park, alone and scared. Dad eventually picked me up, but no one explained. Now 29, I'm still haunted by that night, trying to understand their neglect. I've been sitting on this for years, and I don't know why I'm writing it now. Maybe it's because I saw a post here about someone cutting off their family, and it hit me like a freight train. I don't talk about this much. Hell, I barely think about it some days. But when I do, it's like I'm 8 years old again, standing on the side of a road with a backpack and nowhere to go. I'm 29 now, and I still don't fully understand why my parents did what they did. I'm not looking for pity or advice. I just need to get this out. It's long, and I'm sorry for that, but it's the only way I can tell it. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, one of those places where everyone knows your business, but nobody really cares enough to step in. My parents weren't monsters, at least not in the cartoonish way you might think. They were just broken. Dad was a mechanic who drank too much, and Mom was a part-time cashier who chain-smoked and had this quiet, simmering anger that could flare up out of nowhere. They fought a lot, screaming matches, slamming doors, sometimes worse. I was the youngest of 3 kids, and my older brother and sister were teenagers by the time I was 8, already half gone into their own worlds of rebellion and escape. I don't remember the exact day it happened, but I remember the feeling. It was late summer, sticky and hot, the kind of weather where your shirt clings to your skin by noon. I was playing in the living room with some plastic dinosaurs, making them fight on a lumpy couch cushion. Mom and Dad had been arguing all morning, something about money, as usual. My brother was out with friends, and my sister was locked in her room, blasting music. I was used to the noise, so I just kept my head down, making my T-Rex roar. Then Mom stormed into the room, her face red and blotchy, cigarette in one hand, pointing at me with the other. "You're always in the way," she said. I froze, because I knew that tone. It was the one that meant I'd done something wrong, even if I didn't know what. Dad was behind her, looking tired, like he'd already given up. "Get your stuff," she said. "You're not staying here tonight." I thought she meant I was going to Grandma's or something. That happened sometimes when they needed a break. But then she shoved my backpack at me, the one with the Spider-Man logo that was starting to peel, and told me to pack some clothes. I was confused but didn't argue. I stuffed in a couple of t-shirts, my favorite pair of shorts, and a beat-up copy of Charlotte's Web. I'd gotten from the school library. I didn't know why, but I grabbed my dinosaur too, the one with the chipped tail. They didn't explain. Dad just said, "Go on, walk down to the gas station and wait there." The gas station was maybe a mile away, at the edge of our neighborhood where the houses started to spread out into fields. I asked if someone was picking me up, and Mom just snapped, "Go, now." Her voice was sharp, but her eyes were somewhere else, like she wasn't even seeing me. Dad didn't say anything. He just turned and walked back to the kitchen, so I left. I was 8, and I didn't know what else to do. The screen door slammed behind me, and I started walking. I remember the sound of gravel crunching under my sneakers, the weight of the backpack pulling at my shoulders. It was late afternoon, the sun low and orange, and the air smelled like cut grass and asphalt. I kept looking back at the house, expecting one of them to come out, to call me back, to say it was a mistake. But the door stayed shut. By the time I got to the gas station, my legs were tired, and I was starting to get scared. It was one of those old-school places with a single pump and a little store that sold off-brand sodas and beef jerky. The guy behind the counter, an older man with a gray beard, gave me a weird look when I sat down on the curb outside. I didn't know what I was waiting for. I just sat there, hugging my backpack, watching cars pull in and out. I kept thinking, they'll come get me soon. They have to. They didn't. The sun went down and the air got cooler. The gas station guy came out at one point and asked if I was okay. I nodded because I didn't know what to say. He gave me a bottle of water and a bag of chips, which I ate slowly, trying to make them last. I don't know how long I sat there. Maybe a couple of hours. Eventually, he said he was closing up and asked if I needed to call someone. I didn't have a phone, and I didn't know Grandma's number by heart. I just shook my head and said I'd be fine. He looked at me for a long time, then went back inside. I started walking again. I didn't know where to go, but staying still felt worse. I wandered down the road, past the fields, toward the edge of town, where there was a little park with a rusty slide and a couple of swings. I sat on one of the swings, my backpack on the ground next to me, and just waited. I kept thinking about Mom's face, how she'd looked at me like I was a problem she couldn't solve. I wondered what I'd done wrong. Was it because I forgot to take out the trash? Because I spilled juice on the carpet last week? I didn't cry, though. I don't know why, but I didn't. Sometime after midnight, I could tell because the gas station's neon sign had turned off. I saw headlights. It was Dad's truck. My heart jumped because I thought he was finally coming to get me. He pulled up near the park, and I ran over, dragging my backpack. But when I got to the window, he didn't look happy to see me. He just said, "Get in the back." Not the cab, the truck bed. I climbed in, and he drove us home in silence. When we got there, he didn't say anything, just went inside and locked the door behind him. Mom was in the living room, watching TV like nothing had happened. She didn't look at me. I went to my room and lay on my bed, still in my clothes, clutching that stupid dinosaur. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, it was like it never happened. Mom made breakfast, burnt toast and scrambled eggs, and Dad left for work without a word. My brother and sister acted like nothing was wrong, too. I didn't bring it up. I was too scared of what they'd say, or worse, what they wouldn't say. That wasn't the only time something like that happened, but it was the worst. There were other nights when they'd tell me to go somewhere else for a few hours, but I never wandered as far as I did that night. I learned to stay close, to hide out in the shed or the neighbor's garage until things calmed down. I got good at being invisible. Looking back, I think it was about their own chaos. They were drowning in their own problems, debt, drinking, whatever else was eating them up. And I was just collateral damage. I don't think they meant to hurt me, not really. They were just too broken to care. My brother and sister moved out as soon as they could, and I don't blame them. I left too when I was 18, and I haven't been back since. I'm okay now, mostly. I've got a job as a warehouse supervisor, a small apartment, and a cat who's better company than most people. I've been in therapy on and off, trying to unpack all this, but it's hard. Sometimes I still feel like that kid on the swing, waiting for someone to show up. I don't talk to my parents anymore. Last I heard, Dad's sober now, and Mom's living with some new guy in another state. I don't know if they ever think about that night, or if they even remember it. I don't know why I'm sharing this. Maybe I just needed to say it out loud to make it real. It's weird how something from so long ago can still feel so heavy. If you've made it this far, thanks for reading. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Maybe just someone to hear me.